Welcome back to Cultural Geography. We're at big letter C, the Zambezi River Nation. So let's get right to it. The Zambezi River is the longest river in southern Africa. It is the fourth longest in Africa and runs through several African countries. Missionary David Livingstone explored for many years in this part of Africa. So, that's why the Zambezi River Nations is one of the sub-regions for this chapter. Number 1, Mozambique. Mozambique was a country originally colonized by Portugal. There's this flag. It has dealt with many civil wars. A communist group helped lead Mozambique to independence in 1975, but soon after, another rebellion arose against the communist government, and as many as 1 million people died in the struggle. People returned in 1994, and the country is beginning to stabilize. Mozambique has a long coastline with natural harbors. The country also produces sugar, cotton, cashews, tea, and coal. Number 2, Zimbabwe. There's its flag. Most of Zimbabwe is located on plateaus that range from 1,000 feet to 4,500 feet above sea level. Located in Zimbabwe is probably the most famous waterfall in Africa, Victoria Falls. Turn in your books, please, to page 470, and please read the tan box entitled Victoria Falls to yourself. Once you have finished reading, please unpause and we'll continue. The Great Zimbabwe is the largest stone monument in Africa, besides the pyramids, of course. Zimbabwe was originally colonized by Britain. It was called Rhodesia. The country was controlled by a white minority until 1979. Since then, it has been under the control of the dictator Robert Mugabe. 98% of the population is black. Because of Mugabe's corrupt rule, the U.S. and other countries have placed sanctions on the country. Number 3 is the country of Zambia. That's my treehouse. Just kidding. There's this flag. Although colonized by Britain, it had once been called Northern Rhodesia. It gained its independence in 1964 and became Zambia. The country is located on the Angolan Plateau, which supports trees. The country averages about 4,000 feet above sea level. It's also the largest producer of copper in all of Africa. The country produces maize and sugarcane, yet 3/4 of the people live in poverty. 13% of the adult population lives with HIV or AIDS. In your books, please, turn to page 471, and I want you to read the 2 boxes entitled Cuisine of Zambia, as well as Bible colleges on the mission field. Once you have finished reading, please unpause, and we will continue. Welcome back. Moving on, actually, turn over to page 172, and I want you to read the pink box entitled Remembering the Dead in Zambia. Once you have finished reading that, please unpause, and we will continue. All right, welcome back again. I know, a lot of reading today, right? Number 4 is the country of Malawi. Malawi is almost the size of Pennsylvania. It was colonized by the British and was given its independence in 1964 at the same time as Zambia. Lake Malawi is the 3rd largest lake in Africa. The lake is the dominant geographic characteristic of the country. Much of the country is located on plateaus. Also, Malawi gets the infamous distinction of being one of the world's poorest countries. It lacks natural resources and is a landlocked country, which isolates it from trade and transportation. Its economy is dependent on growing tobacco and tea. Letter D, Indian Ocean islands. Today there are several African island countries in the Indian Ocean. Each of these was colonized by the French. Today the countries are cosmopolitan-like with a mixture of black Africans, Indonesians, Arabs, Chinese, Indians from India, and Europeans. Let's talk about each of these countries. Number one, probably the most well-known, is the country of Madagascar. It is Africa's largest island, and it is the fourth largest in the world. It is separated from Africa by the Mozambique Channel. During the 1700s, pirates like Captain Kidd hid there. Madagascar was a French colony until it gained its independence in 1960. The land consists of mountains in the east, plains in the west, and deserts in the south. This country is known for growing rice. Rice is the major crop of the country. It ranks 20th in the amount of rice grown in the world. The people are a mixture of Africans and Indonesians whose ancestors arrived probably 2,000 years ago. Madagascar is home to some animals that can only be found there, including lemurs. Madagascar is the world's leading exporter of vanilla. Vanillin, the purest form of vanilla, is harvested by hand from the seeds of the fruit of a vine. The original Coca-Cola contained pure vanillin, making the Coca-Cola Corporation a leading purchaser of vanilla from Madagascar. When Coca-Cola introduced a new formula using a synthetic vanilla, Madagascar's economy collapsed. Madagascar's economy recovered only when Coca-Cola returned to its original formula. On page 473, I want you to read that pink box entitled Decline of Family Life in Madagascar. And then I want you to read page 474 entitled Religious Confusion in Madagascar. Once you have finished reading those two boxes, please unpause and we will continue. Number 2, Comoros. The country of Comoros consists of 4 volcanic islands. Also colonized by the French, they gained their independence in 1975. Today, Comoros, its economy is based on agriculture, tourism, and commerce. Their main exports are cloves, vanilla, and perfume oils. Most of the people living here are Muslims. The official languages are Arabic and French, but Shikimoro, a dialect of Swahili, is also spoken here. In fact, more widely spoken than any of the other languages. Number 3, country of Seychelles. Seychelles consists of 115 tropical islands northeast of Madagascar. Some islands are granite mountains that rise abruptly above the sea. The others are low coral islets and atolls. Mahé, the largest island, contains the country's capital and only town, Victoria, where 90% of the people live. Seychelles gained its independence from France in 1976. The people there are descendants of French and African settlers, and the people here are very well educated. 87% of the adults, 98% of the children are literate, which is high. About 87% of the people are Catholic. Tourism and fishing are the strengths of the economy. Last country we'll talk about today is the country of Mauritius. Mauritius is a volcanic island east of Madagascar. It was ruled by the Dutch, then the French, and then the British before gaining its independence in 1968. Most of the people living there are Hindu, about 48%. The rest are Christian or Muslim. Country produces sugarcane, tea, and molasses. Since independence, the country's economy has experienced a large growth in tourism, banking, and industry. The island of Mauritius was once home to the large, flightless dodo bird. Adult dodos weighed up to 40 pounds. They had gray feathers, small wings, and a long green or yellow beak. The dodo was first discovered on Mauritius in 1505 by the Portuguese. However, Europeans may have hunted dodos for food, and animals brought to the island by Europeans, such as dogs, pigs, rats, and cats, devoured the eggs from the dodos' nests. By the end of the 17th century, the dodo was considered extinct. Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland popularized the dodo bird. Another well-known saying is the phrase, dead as a dodo bird. Well, that's because they are extinct. What I want you to do, please, is read page 475 in your please read page 475 entitled World Religions, Prosperity, Gospel. Please read that box to yourself. Once you have finished reading that box, please unpause and we'll continue. For your homework, yeah, you didn't think you'd get a whole week without being assigned anything. Well, for your homework, you need to do pages 161 in your activities book. That's a map of southern Africa, as well as page 165 and 166 in your activities book. That is a reading section. Please make sure you answer the 2 questions on page 166 as well. So 161, 165, and 166 in your activities book. Also, please make sure that you take the quiz over pages 466 to 475. Hope you all have a good rest of the day. Be good, do good. Bye.